Hey guys, Wallet Doctor here. Just wanted to bring you this really brief video just to help you guys get prepared for what's coming in the economy, right? So part of my job is helping my clients each and every day make sure that they're prepared for whatever happens, right? Because you don't have a crystal ball. I know I don't. So we never know what's going to happen. In particular, today, we're going to be talking about specifically having a plan B, right? Or in our case, a spare tire. Now, if you go outside to your car and you look in your trunk, you probably see one of those little donut tires and the jack and everything. And why is that there? It's there because should anything happen to one of your four tires while you're driving, you can just go in the trunk, replace it, and be back on your way. So it's not a major problem. Imagine if you didn't have a spare tire though, what happens? You can't go anywhere. Maybe you potentially have to call a tow truck, be out of even more money, have to pay someone, call if you don't have a AAA or you don't have any other backup plan, then you're pretty much up the creek without a paddle, right? The same thing with our careers. Now, most of us don't think about this, but what would happen tomorrow if your boss said, hey, we no longer need your services anymore? What if your boss came to you and said, hey, we're going to have to, cut your hours or lay you off? Or what if you get permanently ill? What if you come down, sick or you become disabled for whatever reason, right? These are things we don't think about, but it's very real possibilities that these things can affect us. So with that being said, how do we prepare for those things? Well, just like you have a spare tire in the back of your car or truck, you should consider getting a spare tire for your career. And part of what we're going to be talking about is why that is and how to do it and what it means if you don't do it. So let's start off by talking about the consequences and what you can expect to happen if you don't get a career spare tire. Well, what happens if you do get laid off? Do the bills stop coming in? Can you call your mortgage company and say, hey man, I just got laid off? I mean, yeah, you'll get a little forbearance, but eventually that ends. I mean, people are going to want their money regardless of hey, I'm sorry about your situation, man, but you're going to have to send that check still, right? So instead of risking that being a possibility, why don't we even avoid that possibility, right? So that's what we're going to be talking about here today. So one of the primary reasons why you need a career spare tire is because every day that you wake up, your money is losing value. That's right. Every day, your money is losing purchasing power. And I can illustrate that here. So I'm going to share my screen with you so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. So if you take a look at this calculator here, you can see that if you were making $100,000, let me make this a little bit bigger for you. If you were making $100,000 in 2002, which is not that long ago, right? You would need $147,000 in 2022, this year, to buy the same exact items that you could have bought in 2002 for $100,000. Let that sink in. So that means essentially you've lost almost half, 47% of your purchasing power. I want you to really think about that. 10 years ago, if you would have went to the store and got a cart full of items, it probably would have cost $200. Now, if you go get 7, 8, 9, 10 items, it's $100. Inflation at work, it's taking the value. So not only do you have to pay taxes, but you lose your purchasing power. That's why recessions and inflation hurt lower income people more disproportionately, because you're on a fixed income, regardless of if you have SSI or you're working a job. That is a fixed income. I can promise you, no employer is I challenge you, walk into your boss's office tomorrow and ask for a 47.89% raise and see what happens. So the question is, how do we make up for this loss of purchasing power if we can't go to our boss and ask for a raise? And here's the even more frightening thing. That's just since 2002. We expect to live at least for the next 10 years if you're watching this video, right? So let's follow this all the way through. So check this out. Let's start at 2022 and go all the way to 2032. So that means if you're making $100,000 in 2022, you're going to need $128,000 in 2032 to buy what $100,000 buys today. So go to your boss and ask them for a 28% raise. It's not going to go over too well, is it? So let me show you how to make up that shortfall by getting yourself a spare tire. So check this out. Let's say you have a 401k at work, right? So let's say you don't know, most people don't know what their asset allocation is. They don't know what they're making on it. They don't know what funds it's invested in. They don't know any of this stuff. They don't know what the fees are, any of that. So they just think they're okay. Oh, I got a 401k and plus I have an employer match, so I must be okay. I'm going to show you why that's not the case here in a second, but let's follow this through for a minute. So these are some of the best high yielding percentage accounts available to people right now, right? So out of all these, we can see that CIT Bank has the highest percentage rate, 1.65%. Well, let's take this, do some real quick math. And so if you've been following me, you know something about the rule of 72. So the rule of 72 tells you how long it takes for your money to double at a given interest rate. So we got 1.65% here. So we take 72 and we divide it by 1.65%. And that gives us 43 years. Now, let me ask you a question. How many 43-year doubling periods do you have left in your life right now, as of the moment of this recording? So can you afford to save money in an account like this? Probably not. And most people can't, but they do because they don't know the information that I just shared with you. Now let's take this a step further. So let's come back over here and go up here. And let's say you have $25,000 saved right now in your 401k at work, and nothing else outside of it. Is just, that's all you have, right? And you get an employer match, and you guys are putting in $350 a month between you and your employer, right? So let's say after fees and after inflation, you're getting between 3 and 5%, depending on what your asset allocation is. Could be conservative, could be moderate, I don't know. But we'll go middle of the road, 4%. All right. So in 25 years, you got $248,000 inside of your 401k at work. Now, here's the interesting question I have for you. And I don't know, maybe I've never retired before. I don't know if you have, but can you comfortably retire for 25, 30 years after you get, 59 and a half on $248,000? I mean, maybe you can, if you can live off of $1,000 a year, maybe, right? But that's not happening, right? So for all of the people out there that are like, oh my gosh, I have a 401k at work and I have an employer match and everything like that. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't. I just showed you the math. So you need to have something outside of work if you're ever going to hope to retire. Now, most of the time, people piece multiple sources of income together to make up their retirement. So they'll have a pension here, a 401k here, they'll have Social Security here, and they all come together and make up a moderately sized retirement. But I don't know about you. I don't want a moderate retirement. I want to be able to travel and do some of the things I want to do without having to worry about outliving my money, right? So if you're talking about not wanting to outlive your money, $248,000 is not going to get it. We all agree on that, right? Okay. So you say, where am I supposed to get better returns? Well, that's where having a plan B or a spare tire for a career comes into play. Because check this out, because coming here, I was able to get the knowledge that I'm sharing with you today, right? Coming to work and build a business and build a legacy for me and my family. And I'm going to teach you how to do the same thing, right? So check it out. If we come over here, we could look at the best performing mutual funds of 2022. Now, for those of you who don't know what a mutual fund is, all it is a basket of assets. They could be stocks, they could be bonds, whatever, right? So they could be mixed with stocks and bonds, right? But the point of a mutual fund is to pool money together in a basket of assets. So if you buy one stock, like let's say Google, for example, and Google goes out of business, well, you lose all your money. But if your money is spread across Google and Nike and Microsoft and Apple and, Comcast and a whole bunch of other companies, if one company goes out of business, doesn't really affect you that much. So the whole point of a mutual fund is diversification. So the top performing mutual funds of 2022 are here. And you can see that the best performing mutual fund has a 5-year return of 13.5%. And the worst, or I shouldn't say worst performing, but the lowest performing had 11.62%. Now, I don't know about you, but is that better than 1.65%? I mean, just saying, right? So let's go ahead and take the rule of 72 here and apply it here. So you got 72 divided by 13.52 equals 5 years. So your money would double every 5 years. And we can bear that out in the math. So we can come back over here and let's see, 13.52% interest rate, right? And in 5 years, put this to 0 and give us 5 years to grow. Drum roll, please. Almost double. So you see, the rule of 72 is a useful guide to help you bench how many years it takes for your money to double at a particular interest rate. I gave you that one for free, so you might want to write that one down. So given this same example, let's say you came on board with us part-time and you help someone who lost their job or is transitioning from their job, right? Roll that money over, this $25,000 that they have in their 401k, right? Because they got to do something with it, right? And typically, if you just let it sit there, it's not going to do nothing. And the government's going to hit you with taxes if you try to break into it early, right? So you might as well roll it over. So when you help them roll this over, the company is going to pay you $350 every time you roll over, on a part-time contract, every time you roll over $25,000. So if you roll over $100,000, you would just do 350 times 4. That would be $1,400. But for the sake of this example, we're going to go ahead and say this one thing, right? So let's say you help somebody protect their income. or get a life insurance program in place so that if they die too soon, they're protected. And plus, we're setting up this retirement plan for them in case they live too long, they'll be covered, right? The company will pay you another $450. So we're up to $800 right now. Two things, 800 bucks, part-time basis, takes about 2.5, 3 hours to do that for someone. Once a month, 800 bucks on a part-time contract. Now you come over here, right? And you fully fund your Roth IRA, right? You've rolled it over and you got a time horizon of 25 years at that 13.5% mutual fund that we put you in. Guess what's going to happen to you? $1.9 million. That's almost $2 million. Now, can you comfortably retire off of that? I would say so. Look at the difference that makes. It's all about vehicles. Look, this is one vehicle, right? It'd be like if we were trying to go to the moon. Well, we can't drive to the moon, right? We can't take a boat to the moon. You have to go in a spaceship because it's faster, right? So you could try to get to your retirement income benchmark in this or through a 401k at work, but the best and most efficient way is through a Roth IRA and mutual funds. And by the way, Roth IRAs is tax-free. So you're going to be able to access this money tax-free in retirement. And for showing someone how to do this and doing this for someone, you could create this type of nest egg for yourself part-time. Not talking about a full-time income here. You could certainly do that in transition, but right now I'm talking about Plan B spare tire money, 800 bucks a month. And you might initially thought, what am I gonna do with $800 a month? That ain't no money. Well, I just showed you, it is. It's a lot of money. And by the way, we only use $500 of it. So what are we gonna do with the extra $3? I don't know. Pay down your car note, pay it off early, pay off your mortgage early, put it towards your mortgage. You're getting out of debt and saving for retirement, and maybe even getting some life insurance of your own. Because if you got kids and a wife or spouse and somebody depends on your income, guess what? You need life insurance, because again, when you pass away too soon, the bills don't stop coming in. So we got you covered if you die too soon or if you live too long. And you being able to go out and show other people how to get a game plan in place to protect themselves, having a plan B for a career, having a plan B financially, having a game plan in case you live too long or die too soon, you're bulletproof. Why would you want to be bulletproof? And you can see that it's possible. So here's the thing. Here's my challenge to you, because there's going to ultimately be 3 people who watch this video. One of those people is going to say, it sounds nice, but, I'm okay where I'm at. And I really don't want to save up a lot of money for retirement and be bulletproof and have a plan B for a career. Fair enough. You're going to also have another person that says, wow, I can really take advantage of this stuff for myself. I'd like to, be a client and get some of these, accounts open for me and, take care of my financial situation. And last but not least, you're going to have the person that says, you know what? Why can't I do both? Why can't I come on board part-time, get the knowledge and the skills, the tools and the licenses to be able to set my family up for generational wealth, and in turn also be paid to do that for other people, and turn this into start part-time and maybe turn this into a full-time income where I have a business that pays me whether or not I get out of bed in the morning. And that's what I'm working for, folks. And I hope that you would want the same thing for you and your family. If you do, I got news for you. The company, you're going to need two licenses. You're going to need two licenses to do what I just showed you. You're going to need an insurance license. You're going to need an investment license. If you went out and got those licenses on your own, probably cost you $3,600 or more, depending on the state you live. But when you come and apply to work with us, if you qualify, guess what? The company pays for those licenses for you. So, hey, you can make a decision. You can keep on doing what you've been doing and keep on getting what you've been getting, or you can move in the direction of building wealth and legacy for you and your family and people who you know who could absolutely benefit from these financial concepts. So guys, if you really were impacted by what you just saw and the information that was just shared with you, make sure you get with me ASAP, all right? My number is in the description below. My link to my calendar, you can go ahead and make an appointment with me. It's going to be in the description below. You can send me a text. I'll be happy to answer whatever questions you have and go ahead and get you started so you can start building a legacy for you and your family as soon as possible.